Hi, everybody. This is the first video of my YouTube channel, so welcome. I wanted to make this YouTube channel because I think I have a lot of problems that I'm dealing with right now that a lot of people are dealing with, and that gives me comfort. But I think mainly what I want to do with this YouTube channel is to try to reach people. I, I have a decent job right now. I just graduated college. I'm in my 20s, and on paper, it sounds like everything's going well. There's not much more I can ask for just in the immediate short term, and life is good. I think I'm making progress with just my goals that I set 3 to 5 years ago. Um, and I hope that my videos can reach someone who has similar problems as me. And if I can just give someone out there a sense of direction, even a little bit of comfort, that would truly make me feel so fulfilled. And yeah, so here it goes. I'm in my 20s. I graduated college recently, and I have a six-figure job. I work in business, specifically in finance. Um, and that's kind of what it looks like on paper. But as I was going through college, I studied hard. I networked. I did everything I was supposed to do, right? I spoke with people who are in the industry, people who are even in other industries, and learned from them in order to get to where I am today. Um, I also have decent amount of money stockpiled at my age. I have a net worth of around $500,000. So that fluctuates based on stocks, based on the movement of just the market and the things that I'm invested in, which is mainly stocks and crypto. But I want to talk about just going to work, that corporate grind. And I know it's really hard for a lot of people. And it's interesting because I go to work every day and, I work with exceptional people. They're all amazing. Truly, I think they are all very high EQ, smart people who could be, honestly, like looking at it from a third person point of view, they have untapped potential. But because a lot of them have student loans and a lot of them, they have a lot of worries, and I totally understand that about just going off and doing their own thing. That is something that honestly I couldn't tell them to go out and just do their own business, even if I could control what they do, because 9 out of 10 businesses fail, right? That's a real statistic. And it's not as easy as you think. I've started businesses in the past. While I was in college, I was grinding. I'm telling you, I had multiple businesses. Some failed, some were actually successful. I was able to sell the business eventually and make a decent amount of money, and that's how I accumulated a portion of my wealth. Um, but I'll tell you now, there's a lot of things that employers pay that are just costs that we'll never know, and most people just wouldn't ever know or care about. But there are things like payroll tax, state tax, sales tax, and these things are literally like 30% extra of your salary. So if you're making $100,000 a year, base salary, not including bonus or anything like that, your employer is paying probably 130 or maybe even more, because they're also paying for your insurance. They might be paying for your 401k match, your retirement accounts. And so these are all costs that normally people wouldn't see. But for me, being on the other side of owning a business, I have had to pay payroll tax, sales tax, things like that. So I know how it is, right? And a lot of people, I watch them and it's so sad because, oh, I guess I just got ran over by someone in the game, but we'll start another one. No worries here. Um, it's sad because they save up their entire lives working really hard and then they open a business at like the age of 50 or 60 or something. And, an old couple who saved their entire lives to open a restaurant. And I've seen this, traveling to multiple countries, and just interacting with locals, seeing how they work around the clock to maintain their restaurant. Let's be honest, nobody wants to do that. As much as you love serving people, seeing the joy on their face when they eat your food, you don't want to be working around the clock. Like these people, their faces look drained, right? They look like they got scammed by something. And honestly, they did because, you know, countries like all countries, and I'm not just talking about countries that promote business, which just for the record, I am a capitalist. I believe capitalism is the way to advance society and it's the most efficient way of pushing people up the social ladder in the most effective way possible. I think merit is something that should be promoted and should be rewarded. So all countries really have this problem where they want to boost their GDP and they want to make their country as advanced as possible. And the way they do that is by promoting business, right? The more monetary actions are happening, the more monetary momentum is going on in their country, the more growth they get and the better their country looks when they report these numbers. More international businesses, big conglomerates will look and be like, oh, wow, an emerging market. Look at India, look at China. Wow, amazing, right? Let's open some stores there. Let's go to Shanghai, let's go to Mumbai, whatever it is, and let's open a few stores. And that is like just a domino effect of, building and eventually these businesses getting market share in these countries. And but also the most important thing for these countries is they get a lot of exposure to investments from outside. And that means a lot for countries that are quote unquote second or third world, right? Like China, India, etc. And so this all goes to say, and I know I went on a bit of a tangent, but that'll probably happen a lot in this channel. That all goes to say that you always hear things online, people talking about start your own business, take the leap of faith, right? Um, make your dreams come true, you know, work hard now, grind now for a big payout. You can only do that if you're self employed. All these things I've heard a million times, and I've truly believed at some point, and I still believe to some extent. However, I don't think it is for everyone, and I don't think it should be as popular as it is because I'm sure a lot of people have gone bankrupt, right? They've gone bankrupt chasing their dream, starting their own business, and they think they're doing the right thing truly. So, hats off to them. I respect it. But if you ask them now if they would redo the bankruptcy, redo putting stress on their families, redo working 24 hours, 7 days a week, how many would actually say, yeah, that was all worth it? I would redo it again. Probably no one. But you don't hear their stories because who are they going to complain to? There's no use complaining to anyone. They've already lost everything. So then what do? They have to rebuild their lives at, whatever age they failed the business at, and it's just painful, right? So thankfully, and honestly, it's a huge blessing for me to have gotten out of my business the way I did, unscathed. I was able to sell it, uh, and overall just profit from the business. So that was great. But did I need all that stress while I was still in school? I mean, arguably, I think because of the situation that I was in and how I was able to get out, it was a good experience. I learned a lot, I made money, fine. But I do also realize I'm very aware that there's a secondary existence there. There's a secondary possibility that I lose everything, right? I would have lost everything I worked for, and that's fine for me, even if that happened. And that was kind of my mentality going into it because I'm 20. I can make it back. I have a full ride to college and I had no debt obligations. And I was really, I didn't buy a car. I didn't buy a big flashy car, like super cool, like Corvette, whatever. I didn't get a mortgage on a house when I could have. These are milestones that I restrained. I practiced restraint and I really just worked on building my business, looking 20, 30 years down the line. And so, you know, that was what I believe would give me the highest rewards. And so far, thankfully, it has been working according to plan. However, my strategy has changed. I'm now working a W 2 job, right? And I mean, I think more of you can relate to this. The job I'm currently working pays well. It pays all my bills. It provides food on the table, provides me with a future, and overall, that's great. That's the most that many people can hope for. But to be honest, I realized another thing about myself, and that is I really, really, really don't like working for other people to profit. Um, I like working for myself. Like, there's a quote that Mark Cuban said that I resonate with. And he said, I'd rather make $50,000 working for myself than make $100,000 working for someone else. Um, and you can think that's corny, but I think that's kind of the way I see it. So I'm starting this YouTube channel not to aim to make this like a big moneymaker or anything like that, but more so to document my journey, provide some sort of connection with people. I really want to make this something that other people can draw comfort from, draw some sort of direction from, feel relatable. And if anyone can, catch my drift, please feel free to leave a comment and, I'll read all the comments. Um, but mainly, I don't want this to be something that is scripted. I'm going to play some game in the background, chances are, and I'm just going to talk and talk about subjects that matter a lot to me. And these things include entrepreneurship, um, working corporate, and finance, I think is super important as well. So these are all things that I enjoy talking about. I feel like I know a decent amount about, and I think I can help other people by spreading this type of information. Um, so yeah, I hope you guys find my videos informational. Um, or entertaining. But yeah, you know, I look forward to continuing the series. I look forward to speaking to all of you guys, hopefully on a regular basis. I have a pretty demanding job with crazy hours, but I also think that this is something I'm super passionate about. And so that's why, even though I don't really have that much time to be dedicating to this, I'm just going to throw it on, um, and hopefully get some results. But thank you guys for being here for the first episode. I really appreciate it.